A dysfunctional family will affect you. They can be dysfunctional mentally, physically, and just hurt you. And you won't know until you get older because it's the experience that you live as a child. I'll say it again.
Have you ever woke up at 4 a.m. because you were startled by the sound of bypassing trucks and cars? If your answer is no, then you, like many Americans, probably wouldn't understand the plight of the homeless community in our country. A YouTube channel that recently piqued my interest is Soft White Underbelly. This is a channel where I like to say they show you the America that TV does not want you to see. I myself am 30 years old and dealt with homelessness throughout my mid-20s. There are many stigmas and negative thoughts that instantly come to someone's mind when they hear that. But let me start off by saying, I wasn't a drug addict or alcoholic. There, I said it. It's okay if you may have thought that, because the facts are that's probably the first thing that many think. And yes, I have met my fair share of drug abusers and alcoholics throughout my own journey. But I also met many more people who were homeless because of their mental health or lack thereof. Soft White Underbelly interviews people that the culture would consider the bottom of American society. Some of these people have struggled from unimaginable circumstances that many people couldn't fathom. What you might consider a homeless bum, in actuality could be someone who suffered from childhood trauma that landed them in their current situation. I personally struggle from major depressive disorder, and that led me down a very dark path of deceit and burning bridges. Not until I got on medication did I realize all the destruction that I actually did in my own life. So to hear Mark interview people in the midst of their journeys is remarkable.
Tell me about the Johns that pick you up.
Most of them are Hispanic. Like, I have to put on a costume, basically, over my head because it's like, over my face rather, too, because it's nasty. It's nasty. It's like, I'll have to just think about the money, because if I think about the actual John that I'm dealing with at that time, it makes me sick. It makes me want to throw up. Some of them.
I'd rather steal from stores than people. I'd rather take from a company than an acquaintance or somebody. But yeah, I'll go to one of my fences, and I'll get rid of it. I'll sell it. Like a product that costs $100, I'll only get like $10 for it. But I grab a shitload of them and.
Are you the provider in the family?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a noble thing to be. Usually the female becomes the moneymaker because on the streets she can make more money.
Well, he can get more things to make the money, but I can make more money off of one thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is like, we both know good things like name brands and stuff like that as in clothes.
That event was the event that finally brought me to my knees, and I didn't know what to do, my husband, the one that my rock, started using again. And I wasn't using. When I was pregnant with Roxana, I was good, and he started using and was doing some way out stuff to me and the kids.
Mark and his channel do tremendous work of showing people a world that you otherwise would never be able to see. Have you ever wondered what would drive someone into a world of street working to survive? There's an interview for that. Have you ever wondered what drives someone into drug addiction in the first place? There's an interview for that. I personally have slept in storage units, laundry rooms, and even on bus stops. And the humility that I have now on the world is like none other. The respect I have for a man who grew up privileged somewhat to care about why people end up in these situations is nothing short of miraculous. Now, doing this kind of work also has some downside to it, with the scandals of Exotic, who was a street worker, who lied and with her pimp's aid got thousands of dollars out of Mark by lying about not being able to take care of a child that in actuality she didn't have.
You are, how would you describe yourself? You are Israel's boyfriend?
Yes.
Are you her money manager as well?
Yes.
Would you call it a pimp?
I wouldn't use that per se, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have known each other for a while?
Yeah.
And you're a Crip?
Yes, I am.
You're a Crip. You grew up in South Central?
Yes.
So, I was trying to help out Israel with, getting a stable situation for her and her kids, and help her with the drug addiction and education and job and all, supporting herself.
Right.
And the money that I was giving her started increasing and increasing. I was giving out thousands a day at some point. Mm-hmm. I think that was probably going to you at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because you're her money manager.
Right.
Does that money, where's that money go? Because she's still asking me for like $25 for gas and stuff like that, so she's not getting it.
It goes towards me, the kids, and sometimes her. Depends on what it is.
Mm-hmm. And you've been doing this kind of work for how long?
Since I was 18.
How old are you now?
30.
30. You've done prison time?
Yes, I have.
What kind of stuff for?
Just minor possessions. It's nothing too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry you guys just had a miscarriage recently. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Where do you...
But in Kelly's situation in particular, she was accused of lying by people who claimed they knew her personally, and that she was embarrassing her family by telling her story. And Mark even brought her back for a part 2 where they speak and cover the scandal, and she doubles down that this is in fact her true story.
Like I told you, nobody checks on me. Nobody does anything for me. I've been selling my vagina since I was 11 years old.
All right, Kelly.
Yes.
Kelly, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I don't know if you can see these on my sides, but my foster dad, he actually duct taped me to a chair, and he pretty much drive screws in my ear, and then he pulled them out, and like
he put screws.
The small ones, he screwed them with a screw gun. He screwed them with a screw gun, and not all the way in, but he's just a sick fact. He screwed them in my ears, and now I have permanent marks here. They've been here ever since he did.
He tied you down or something?
He duct taped me to a chair. Duct taped me to a chair. I was sitting in a wooden chair like this, and he duct taped me. He used to chase me around the house to rape me, and I used to be running around the house.
Kiera.
Yeah.
Or also known as Kelly on my channel.
Yeah.
That was your street name that you asked me to use.
Yeah.
Back then. But a lot has gone on since you and I spoke almost a year ago.
Yeah.
That was Christmas Eve that you and I met.
Mhm.
So first, before we even get into what's going on in your life today, let's address what there was this kind of, I don't know what to call it, but a lot of people claimed your story was untrue, and I have my ideas as to why that happened. What are your thoughts on it?
Honestly, I just think people, they don't know. So, or I don't, honestly, they think that I did it for money. Or,
well, you didn't do it for the money because you didn't know that there was a GoFundMe connected to your campaign.
But people don't know that.
That was something I did and didn't tell anyone. You didn't know.
But people don't know that, so they assume that, that I did it for money.
It was actually, I told you when it was $12,000, and you told me to stop it at $13,000, I think.
Yeah.
Which I didn't do. I let it go to 28. In 2 days, it went up to 28,000, and then I stopped it.
It went up really fast. So of course people thought I did it for money and for clout, but I don't care. I don't let things like that faze me because I know what I've been through, you know?
Yeah, I learned a lot from social media through you.
Yeah.
Because I was ready to, let's do a video and show the scars in front.
Even after the accusations and the scandals, Mark continues to shoot videos and provide a one-of-a-kind perspective on the homeless community. I bring up these situations just to show that even through all the BS and people trying to swindle and lie, he still goes out and tries to help people through his platform. In an interview on No Jumper on the Shark Tank podcast, he stated that he provides some of the people he interviews with money to help them in their journey.
Somebody that comes off the street, comes from off of Skid Row, what would be like do you give these people, you give them money
I give
for
them money.
these?
Yeah, typically.
What would be like the most, from the least to the most you would give the average person walking in that you would want to capture the story?
Just the way that in our first interview, I asked you a question, you said I'd rather not answer that. Mm-hmm. I'd rather not answer this one.
Understandable.
Because there's a lot of things I do that I learned on that first project that are important in terms of how I do this. And I just want to protect that.
I find that noble because when I was homeless, I would be hard pressed some days to find food, let alone somebody who just wanted to help out the kindness of their heart. I live in one of America's most thriving counties in our country, and yet the homeless community in my own area is larger than I think anyone really imagines who lives in this area. Mark's own studio is on Skid Row in California, but no matter what state you're in, there's a homeless community beneath the surface. The same places with a Starbucks on every corner, I guarantee also have people bending over backwards to get their next dollar. A video in particular I want to speak about titled Ex-Con Interview with Choice.
My mom, my dad was a cold-hearted alcoholic, and he introduced my mom to it. He did a little heroin. My mom never did that. I have one brother and one sister. I want to share something with you it was private, but I think I need to get it off my chest because it's something that you should hear and know, and it's real. A dysfunctional family will affect you. They can be dysfunctional mentally, physically, and just hurt you. And you won't know it until you get older because it's the experience that you live as a child. I'll say it again. It's the experience that you live as a child. And as you get older, if you don't experience anything else, because you've become conditioned to your neighborhood, it's where you're comfortable at, it's all you're gonna know. And you use it unconsciously, and it's the wrong thing to use.
He spent 31 years in jail for a murder. He says that he grew up watching his mom get beat up and abused in other ways along with his brother. His father had an alcohol dependency to where the doctors told him that if he did stop drinking, that he could possibly die. He goes on to further explain his childhood and how he developed this drug addiction. Now, to me, the most important part of his video is the first 5 minutes, where he explains the things that, as a young man, he had to witness his mother endure. Because of movies and reality TV, a lot of people have become desensitized to stories like this. But this is no television show. This man physically saw and witnessed his mother be abused and physically assaulted by the hands of men that came in her life. Now, I couldn't end this video about soft white underbelly without discussing his documentation of the Whitaker family. And they are an inbred family from Odd, West Virginia. And to say that this is the most jaw-dropping content that I may have ever seen would be an understatement. That less than 3 hours away from where I myself live, maybe even closer, that there is a family of siblings that are also relatives. That may not make sense, but check out this clip.
Stories about your family, that your parents were brother and sister or cousins or something like that? Nothing like that? But the mental disorder that Ray has, what is that from?
Now, I know I have my own opinions on this situation, and I'm sure that you do as well. But by the end of watching 3 videos about this family, as a human, I would be cruel not to have a sense of feeling sorry or pity, for lack of a better word. You see 3 grown people who can't speak whole sentences, and one named Ray who in particular barks like a dog. On the outside looking in, 99% of our country would look at this family and just make assumptions. But with Mark providing insight and asking questions, the picture becomes clear, and you realize these people didn't ask for this way of life, but their family in whatever complicated way, and they love and take care of each other. My only point is, it's funny what giving people a platform to tell their story can do. Hopefully one day Mark will see this video and maybe want to interview me so I can tell my story as a young black man in America who dealt with some issues of my own. Mark is showing people that no matter your race, no matter what your current situation is or financial situation is, that you have a voice that deserves to be heard. This video was hard to make, if I'm being honest, because so many memories of my own came back while doing research for this video. We need more channels like this on the platform that promote change and actually help real people. Mark, keep doing good work, and I wish nothing but continued success for you and your channel. If you like this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit my first 100 subscribers, so any amount of love would definitely be appreciated. This is Playoffs and Love, and I'm out.